Unfortunately, here we are again. As I'm sure many of you have heard, there was yet another deadly mass shooting, this time at a 4th of July parade in Highland Park, Illinois, yesterday. A gunman opened fire from a rooftop with a high-powered rifle. 6 people were dead, were killed. Dozens more were wounded. This is number 309 for mass shootings on the year. 22-year-old suspect was taken into custody last night. We're not naming him. We're not going to show pictures of him, but he's from that area. He's an aspiring rapper who has a lot of material on social media, some of which is pretty disturbing. There's also a lot of pictures of him at rallies draped in a Trump flag. I think that's important to note, too. So new details from police reveal the suspect had planned the shooting for weeks, and he dressed like a woman at the parade in order to disguise himself, Jeff, from the police.
Yeah.
This is your hometown to a degree. It's about an hour away. What were your feelings when you found out about this?
Eerie. And you know why? Because I was at a parade myself with my family thinking there's a lot of people here, because it was in the back of my mind. Not really concerned, but cautious. And then I get home finding out this happened an hour and a half from where I grew up, right? It's just the walls are closing in. And, you know, my take on this, which isn't a great one, is if we're not going to do anything about gun control, let's do something about harsh punishments. Like, this person should be dead today. That's my take on gun control.
I think your anger is palpable, and we all get it. I mean, Sam, I don't know where to go from here. I remember just thinking how excited I was to get back to work, and then I saw this happen, and it just filled my body again, because I get to sit with two of my best friends in the world, and I mean that. But like, we always have to talk about such terrible things, and like, you know, I was with my kids all week, and I kept thinking about the parents in Uvalde. And I can't imagine, like, I'm watching them grow and say funny things and be sarcastic with their dad and sassy with me, and like, they're my friends, and like, to have that stunted at the age that those kids were,
it's unfathomable.
Are we going to be a society or not? I feel like is a question we need to keep asking ourselves, because I don't know if it's a for sure yes.
Well, you know, we can, for more on this, we do have, we're joined by retired LAPD Sergeant Cheryl Dorsey. Now, Cheryl Dorsey, thank you for being here. Unfortunately, under these circumstances, I know, Jeff, you had a question that you wanted to start with.
Yes, Sergeant Dorsey, thank you so much for being here. What are your thoughts about this happening at a 4th of July parade? I just mentioned my concerns earlier. Is this what we should expect now in any sort of public setting?
Well, sadly, I say yes, because listen, I mean, just a year ago for the 4th of July, there was a lunatic that drove his vehicle down a crowded route of onlookers for 4th of July. And so it's unfortunate, but these are the times that we live in. And so now police have to also readjust their way of thinking when we are on perimeters for these kind of events. Now we've got to look up to the roof and make sure there isn't a sharpshooter standing by to harm onlookers. It's really unfathomable, but we need to be prepared, because if you stay ready, you don't have to get ready, right?
Wow.
Yeah,
unfortunately.
What a statement.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I had to stop and pause on that. But, you know, we kind of did have some indicators, because this monster social media had very disturbing things on it. The monster in Buffalo had very disturbing things on their social media as well. We are seeing that people are posting about things that they're going to do. So I think as a citizen, I'd like to know what the police can do in a situation like this, where there's no crime, but they're posting about doing crimes. Like, what is that?
Well, here's the problem that we have. I mean, everybody has a right to say what they want. We live in a society that allows that, but there's always red flags. And, you know, if you see something, you should say something. Family members certainly have a role to play. Listen, this young man, he's 22, 23. He didn't get like this yesterday. And I've got 4 sons. So I understand you can't live in my house with a tattoo on your forehead that says anything, right?
Right.
I'm going to be monitoring and looking over your shoulder if you're in my house to see what it is that you're doing. How do you amass all these weapons and keep them in my house? So I don't know if the parents are absentee, if they just don't care, or are they like-minded? They have a role to play.
Right.
And if someone is expressing the kinds of sentiments this young man does, while it doesn't rise to the level of criminality, he certainly isn't 5150. Red flag laws that would create a liaison officer to hear and know this, and maybe ask a few more questions before you start passing out guns like chiclets to this individual.
Well said.
And Sam, I have a quick
Yes,
follow-up.
yes.
I just wanted to ask, in terms of parents, Sergeant Dorsey, are we, because I remember the parent in Michigan, said, don't let them find your gun, LOL. Remember the kid?
So
there's been so many,
Then they
Sam.
should be culpable.
So, yes. So it would, in a situation like that where the parent clearly knew and was like LOLing with her son that had just murdered classmates,
right.
When are we going to start to see the parents face some repercussions for this, knowing that they have a monster in their basement or attic?
Probably never, because it would be hard to prove, I think, to a jury of their 12 peers intent, right, for the parents. I mean, we know the sister of the Uvalde shooter knew that her brother was trying to get a gun months before he actually got one. And so that's why if you see something, say something, you would hope that they have a conscience and just a little bit of humanity, that they might report that and have someone ask those questions in a background check. Make sure that they're okay mentally, or just okay, period, before you start giving them weapons and ammunition. I don't think that that's unreasonable. I'm not saying don't give them a gun. I'm just saying I need to talk to you first.
That's exactly right. And in fact, Congress did recently pass a new gun bill. Would it have had any effect on the horrific situation yesterday?
I don't think so then, and I don't think so in the future. I mean, wow. There's a tepid response, but I don't think that there's going to be anything that can stop this from happening, because police are reactive. We're not very proactive, and so while you can put in some safeguards, you can't check every box to stop every would-be lunatic from acting out. You can't even think that these things are possible. So how do you even come up with a scenario to stop it?
I just wish there was more we could do. I mean, there has to be more that we can do.
There has to be, because other countries are not having this conversation right now, Sergeant.
But other countries don't have a love affair with guns like we do. And I'm not against the Second Amendment by any means. My household has a gun. But wow. Well, Sergeant Dorsey, we could have you on for an entire show. And I hope one day that we actually do, and we can put our heads together and we could, I don't know. I feel like there has to be hope out there. There really does. We appreciate you. For our viewers out there, you gotta grab a copy of Sergeant Dorsey's latest book, The Confidence Chronicles, the greatest crime story never told. You can go ahead and pick it up wherever books are sold. Thank you so much, Sergeant Dorsey. We appreciate you.